Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. We're in my shop. Mitch is handling the camera duties, and welcome. We often do bicycles, motorcycles, things like that, and we're doing something a little different today. I had a friend stop by and we were having a conversation, and in the course of that he says, "Would you make me a smoking pipe?" And I said, "What?" Anyway, long story short, it's metal, it's fabrication, and I owe him a favor. So I'm gonna try my hand. I made a couple sketches here, and I've got some metal. I've got some stainless steel tubing. I've got some brass hex. I've got some round brass, which I want to make into a hex. And I have some bronze. So this is what we're gonna use. There's no regular steel here because that might rust. So let's give this a go and have some fun. I'm gonna make a hex out of this piece of brass. I could have bought hex, but I've had this piece for I don't know how many years and it just sits on my shelf. So I'm gonna use this much and make a hex. So it's a hex, so we're gonna do 0 degrees, 60, 120, and so on. So we do a circle. So you can see the hex forming, obviously. I'll set it to 3/4 of an inch. 0. So I got 365 thou to take off, so that's another cut of 180. So we have a hex. We'll just take off the burrs now, and then we'll start working in the lathe. So I've got to do a taper now, so I have to angle the compound. Loosen the 2 nuts, and then I've got, I can see around here. There you go, 18 degrees. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so on the lathe, this is basically done. It has to be cut off with a hacksaw, hole drilled. So we'll work on the second piece. I don't have a CNC, so I'm gonna do something else. What I wanna do here is not a taper, it's a radius. I want to bring this down, but an arc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool. It's a little bit larger. And I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to put the feed on, and as the feed pulls the tool to my right, I'm going to wind in the cross feed and start slowly and then go faster. That should make the arc. Let's see how we do. I have cardboard here because these are kind of soft metal. They're going to get held in the chuck in the hardened jaws. So it's good to put a little piece of insulation in between. So I'm going to use cardboard. It's a cereal box, that's all it is. So I'll put it round. That's how much we need. Looks good. It's nice and smooth. So we'll do the same on this guy here. It's a 1/4-inch tube. So I got a drill here that's undersized, 15/64, and then I'm going to ream it, and that stainless steel tube will get Loctited in. And that's through. Can you see how it raised up the surface there? That's how hard the drill was pushing it. It raised the surface slightly, so that has to be sanded off. I'm using an end mill here. I'm going to make the hole a little bigger because the stem needs to be soldered in. Looks like it's in the middle, so that's good. So what we'll do next is to work on the stems. You can see how the metal raised up from the drill bit. Okay, let's go off to the lathe and we'll face the ends of the tube and then we'll see if it fits. Oh, look at that, it goes on. All right, so I'm going to polish this just a little bit. That's good for the Loctite to hold on to. Loctite 620 retaining compound. Good stuff. Never fall out. All right, you just need a little dab. A few hours and that'll be set. So next we have to work on the brass hex. We have to drill a hole right through. I've got a long drill. We'll go from each end. It doesn't make sense to start at one end and then go all the way through, because if the drill wanders, then it's off on one end. When you start at both ends, at least you meet in the middle and you can't tell if it's off a little bit. Second side. So this is known as a live center. It's got ball bearings here, I believe, and so it spins freely because we have to turn down the OD. That's what's going to happen. That's what I want to happen. There's the hex here and here. So we're going to turn that down and that down. If you don't have a center up here, this will wobble. It'll be almost impossible, almost. So that's why you put the center in there. And then we're going to machine down to there, like that. Here we go. Okay, do you see what happened? Do you see how it's a little bit rough here? And what happened was, I guess the force of the tool, it pushed the brass hex into the chuck a little bit, so I'll make it a little tighter. And so the live center, it became loose. So I realized it, I tightened up the live center, and then it got smooth again here. So you have to keep an eye on that. There's always a little bit of pressure on the live center. It's a little tight. I think we're gonna sand it just a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's go do some soldering. So we'll get a little bit of flux on here. A little bit on the outside. Once you start to heat it up, the flux usually flows pretty well anyway, so that looks pretty straight. So the larger piece, the ball, takes more heat. There we go, look at that. It's not flowing as well as I'd like it to. Not sure if that's because I don't quite have enough heat on, or... Okay, so I use my screwdriver and help it. Because it's definitely hot enough. It just doesn't flow that well. I think we can say that's good. I want a little bit more of a chamfer here, so just doing some final touches and then basically done. Ooh. It comes out fast, it's soft. I just want to round off those corners a little bit, just make it not quite as sharp. Okay, so I'll take some Scotch-Brite and give it just a little bit more of a polish. Kind of rounds the corners just a little bit so that when you hold it, it's not quite as sharp edges. A little bit more pleasing. Let's see if this is a good size here. This is brass, it's also pretty soft. There we go. Okay, that's in there. One more. There we go. So, a couple pipes. My friend should be happy. He can have a choice. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. It's been fun making stuff. See you next week. Stay safe. Bye.